GadgetNate's Weekend Review and Preview for February 14th, 02021. So I'm going to have to emphasize this for the next couple of weeks, but Inspiration 4 is an opportunity you don't want to pass up. If you live in the US and you're over 18 and you want to go to space, give $10 to St. Jude for a chance to win a flight on a SpaceX Dragon capsule later this year. I know that there's going to be people after February that's like, why didn't you tell me about it? So I'm telling you about it. This week I went to Space Center Houston for my volunteer interview. It went well. At Space Center Houston, they have a flight-proven SpaceX Falcon 9 first stage booster. That was a new development since last time I've been there. You can see some pictures of me in front of it. But I'm really looking forward to getting to volunteer out at Space Center Houston. Okay, so let me tell you about the journey. It starts with a question on the Space Hero social media event today, where we have this networking event where we have a list of questions that we have to find out who in the group can answer that, can fit that question. And so the question is, who can cook an Italian dish, a Mexican dish, an Indian dish, an African dish? Now, Italian, I can cook spaghetti, pizza. Mexican, I got fajitas and tacos. Indian, I could cook gobi bhaji, but I don't know any African dishes. I wish I knew an African dish, which led somebody to suggest Moroccan chicken tagine. And that led me to trying to make it today. The hardest part of it was actually finding preserved lemons. There you can see Sonia and I, after the third grocery store, actually found preserved lemons, and there's the final dish on the right. And it's really inspired me to learn more about Morocco. So I look forward to exploring more Moroccan food, and I think it'd be really neat to know more about this very rich in history and culture place of the world. So how did I do for this past week? This is actually the week of February 7th. In terms of waking up at 6 a.m., forget it, didn't happen. Run, I didn't run a single day. I don't know, it's completely off. Tonal, I only used it one day. I did start reading the first space race, that's good. Isaac's celebration got delayed a week because of the weather. Didn't do anything with the North Houston Space Society. I need to do, I did the countdown to the moon, 7 interviews and 3 reflections. I need to still do the SD card, the Rotary Club speech, the MarsCon speech. I did do the interview for Space Center Houston, that's good. And I did the judge training for the Science and Engineering Fair of Houston. I also, actually went through the first round of judging. It's amazing to see what these middle schoolers are doing. Our future can be bright. So the 7 interviews, interview Kavar, who's does at the Astronomy Club of Islamabad, and then Dina, who's the wife of Alex, who's in Morocco, incidentally, and she's a doctor. Krishna and Rama are her children. She acted as a translator. And then Kareem, he knew a lot about space. It was really fascinating. Stephen, I ran into at the restaurant here. And then Daniel, I met through this global English learning Telegram group. And then Sophine is a friend of ours. We ran into her at the grocery store today. So that's good. And in terms of reflections, I reviewed Krista's interview. It's amazing how much her life has changed since the time that this interview took place. Also, Oz, who I was going to tennis with. He just happened to be at the same tennis lesson as me. And then Mr. Rama Reddy, who unfortunately passed away the first week of this year. He's our neighbor and longtime friend. Plans for this week. So I'm planning to go and try to run 3 days, 3 miles. I kept the goal the same since I didn't do anything last week. I think it's going to have to be some treadmill days because it is freezing cold. Use the tonal 3 days, finish reading the first space race, and then finally get to have a great celebration with my nephew Isaac. And then, of course, my space goals remain largely the same, except I could take off these last two since those are already done. But everything else remains the same. So that's pretty much it for me this week. See you all next week.